Welcome to the Waterboy and Equipment Manager Podcast. My name is Saif Basaria.
I'm Kaiz Sharanya.
Fuck you, man. What the fuck?
Back to the sniping.
And I'm Shaban Samani.
And we're back. Episode 18, available on YouTube. What's going on, YouTube? That's where you can find us at...
The Waterboy and Equipment Managers Podcast on YouTube.
Thank you. Where are we on Instagram, Shaban?
Waterboy and Equipment Manager.
Where are we on Twitter, Saif?
Waterboy Manager.
There you go.
Oh, I learned it! I learned it! So we got to start off with an in memoriam.
Not an in memoriam. We're going to start another protest. We're going to go out, flip some shit. ESPN, look at me. Bring Woj the fuck back. Hashtag free Woj. All he did was reply, fuck you. He didn't know who sent him the email.
Oh, he definitely knew.
Oh, he definitely knew.
He definitely knew he was talking to. But honestly...
Can I just make a case for Woj?
But, make a real case. You're clearly not doing this well.
Look, it's been so boring because every Twitter notification I get is shams.
Whoa.
Mark Stein, shams.
Listeners, I would like to point out that if you go back just a couple episodes, every time we talk about
brother
Shumps,
from another mother, yes.
You should be hyped for him. This is good for him.
No, because fuck that. Woj is Woj. We call them Woj bombs. There's no shams bombs.
Oh, there's shams bombs. There's shams bombs.
We don't call them bombs. We call them tweets.
Hey, whoa, that's lame. I think you're making a poor case. Look,
I don't give
the
a
important
fuck.
thing is...
Bring back Woj.
Yes, hashtag free Woj. We need Woj back. Things are just more interesting. Look, Shumps has had it too easy for the last week. We got to put a little bit of pressure on both of them. That way we get more shit. We're going to hear more things from the bubble when there's competition to deliver that information to us.
Or, I don't know, the greatest basketball reporter in the world doing his job.
I mean, also facts. Right?
How you going to suspend him indefinitely, bro? Like, I get a week, maybe even a day.
Yo, guys, we have breaking news on the podcast.
Is Woj back?
What?
Nah. Mark Stein just tweeted that Eric Bledsoe has actually not reported to Orlando yet because he did test positive for COVID-19, but has no symptoms as of right now.
Okay.
Interesting.
Hey, my X Factor.
I mean, let's hope... Dude, that's so funny. That was both of our X Factors on last week's episode. So anyway, boys, free Woj, and now we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled programming, which is...
And if you don't know, now you know.
That's right. If you don't know, now you know. And Shaban, start us off, man.
So we got some news from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it's not that Brian Kemp rescinded the mask.
We don't talk
this
about
is a
that.
basketball fucking podcast.
We don't talk
Stick
about
to the
that
point.
piece of shit on here.
But the Hawks have hired Tory Miller as the GM for the G League affiliate of the Hawks, the College Park Skyhawks.
Mm-hmm.
And she would be the first general manager in the G League. Which is pretty big news.
First female general manager.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
You know, you got to finish the statement.
The first female
GM, bro.
And some news from Orlando. Despite the rising COVID-19 test cases, the Disney World Park has reopened fully.
Let the magic begin.
Literally.
Quite literally, yeah. They're all going to get fucking sick.
I know, man.
But so, on the bright side, yeah, it sucks that Disney World is open for the fact of safety for our NBA guys. But on the bright side, it seems as though they've upped security around the hotels and areas in which the NBA players will be. The idea is to make that bubble as impenetrable. Words.
Impenetrable.
Thank you. You can't get in. If you're not a part of the league, you can't get in. That's kind of the point here.
Well, I thought that the hotel staff or the resort staff, they can enter and exit the bubble as they please.
So that's the X factor for if the NBA comes back or not.
Yeah.
The staff that is not NBA hired staff, like the hotel staff, yeah, they get to go home with their families. However, they are tested upon arrival, I believe, based on their temperature. So they don't get tested every day, but if they come in with any potential possibility, they're tested on the spot. Which, again, don't love that. I wish they were just tested every day all the time.
I wish they would just stay in the bubble.
Well, that's a lot to ask, man. Asking people to stay in the bubble for potentially 3, maybe 4 months, I feel like that's a lot to ask. And just, leave your family.
You gotta realize
you're not a
their
basketball
family
player.
is there.
Yeah. By the way, you're not a basketball player. You don't get paid like a basketball player.
Right.
You do a bunch of work that's not playing basketball. Oh, by the way, you have to stay here for 4 months.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot to ask for hotel staff.
Yeah.
You know? So hopefully they can do the best they can. And in all honesty, it's really, really hard to think that this is going to work perfectly, but we're basketball fans and we want it to work, right? I mean, that's what we want. We want basketball back.
Yeah, I think it's improbable to really think that there are going to be no test cases positive in the bubble.
Yeah.
There two cases
already
came
had
back. Yeah, we already have two cases positive and inside
the bubble. Yep.
Apparently, they have been quarantined upon arrival in Orlando, and they were tested on the
All
spot.
right, can we talk about the best coronavirus possible case?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah. Go for it.
Rashawn Holmes.
Rashawn Holmes of the Sacramento Kings. Yeah. What a fucking clown, bro.
He went to go meet his Postmates driver. And no. It gets worse. I know what he ordered.
Oh, what did he order?
The
I did not
Philly
know.
cheesesteak and hot lemon pepper wings from American Deli.
Bruh. Bruh!
He left the
wait,
bubble.
pause though, but like...
It's a great meal.
It's a good meal.
But why the fuck are you leaving the bubble to get
Okay,
American Deli?
So here's the backstory for those that don't know, okay? So Kelly Oubre is the one who screwed this man, okay? Kelly Oubre tweeted, no bullshit. He tweeted, NBA players, Postmates drivers are not allowed inside the bubble. You have to walk out the hotel and meet them outside to pick up your food. Rashawn Holmes did it. Rashawn Holmes is now in quarantine. Kelly Oubre conveniently deleted the tweet.
Hold up. What?
That man tried to trap people and it worked, but only on one
Is
dude.
Kelly Oubre even in Orlando?
No, he's
not.
still recovering from his surgery.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
How would he know?
Bro, he's straight up sabotage, bro. He's a saboteur.
He got the insider.
I'm sorry, the 13
speaking
team
of which-
just came after the 11 seed.
Speaking of which, Dwight Howard got in trouble because he got snitched on by the snitch line.
Yo, what did he do?
He wasn't wearing his mask.
Of course he wasn't. Come on, Dwight.
Also,
Come
Dwight
on.
Howard's the only one that went to the disco.
Oh yeah,
Dude, I heard about that. That was
the
insane.
DJ party.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Okay,
man.
okay, let's bring it back. So, starting July 22nd, so about 6 days from today, we're recording Thursday here, July 16th, the NBA's interleague scrimmages will begin. Players obviously will play each other on scrimmages. And the big question was, will we be able to watch these scrimmages? And now the answer has come out from the NBA saying, yes, you
Thank
will.
you,
But-
God.
But only on NBA TV and NBA League Pass. So it won't be super naturally tell, but you have to have NBA TV, which I think most people do at this point, or NBA League Pass to watch these scrimmages, which is better than no content, is some content. I think we're very excited to have that. I wonder how seriously these scrimmages will be taken, you know?
Very lightly.
I don't know. I feel like the scrimmages are like legit, man, because the games themselves, I feel like, are good. We've already said they're going to be pretty lax for the teams that don't have to work extremely hard to up their seeding. So I think the scrimmages are a good way to just get back in shape into then playing those games. But you're probably right, in all reality, pretty lightly.
I mean, I would assume that even the 8 games would be just sort of so the big stars can get in, get some reps, and like prepare for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago. The 8
Yeah.
games matter more for the teams that can jostle for positioning or trying to get into the playoff.
Mhm.
But for the teams up top, like Milwaukee or the Lakers or the Clippers, even the Raptors to a smaller extent, it's not super hardcore necessary for them to work really, really hard in the 8 games. Just get in shape, get ready, and then do well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So some of the guys that are interestingly leaving the bubble is Dennis Schroeder. He and his wife are expecting their child in 3 to 4 weeks. So he's going to leave the bubble. He has been granted permission to leave the bubble, but 3 to 4 weeks places him right when about the 8 games should be done, and we're going to go into the first round. The Thunder have been a fantastic basketball team due to their 3 guards with Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Dennis Schroeder.
Right.
And losing him potentially for much of, if not the entire first round, could be a quick walkout for the Thunder if it wasn't already going to be. So I think Dennis Schroeder could put a little monkey wrench in the Thunder's plans here if his wife goes into labor right around the time that the playoffs are starting. And obviously that's not her fault. It's not his fault. It's unfortunate timing. But the Thunder are definitely
All
going to
you
miss
can
Dennis.
tell is NBA players definitely plan their babies around the offseason.
No question. Dude, honestly, lots of props to the players for planning for the offseason. It's just unfortunate that this offseason is not a normal offseason.
This is not a normal year.
It's not an offseason.
I mean, facts, right? So, Kaiz, I know you want to give us an update on the Brooklyn Nets.
My favorite team to cover.
Dude, we have news from them every single podcast for, I think, the last 6 or 7 episodes.
Yes, so, good news first. They signed Jamal Crawford.
Hell yeah, welcome back, Jay Crossover.
Bad news. Tried to sign Michael Beasley, gave him the Rona. He is not coming in.
Gave him the Rona?
They did not give him the Rona. He got the Rona.
Was it 8 players now?
I think they're up to like 8 or 9. It's bad. It's
yeah,
bad, bro.
okay, yeah, it's pretty
They're
bad.
worse than the Kings.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty.
They're
bad.
pretty bad off. I
I don't think we could have covered this later. Harrison Barnes also tested positive.
think he already did test positive, right? Is he?
I think he's good now.
It could be a re-release of news, but I just got the notification
unless he
yesterday.
tests
Yeah.
positive again, because I've heard
That would be annoying.
I've heard about like people
That
they
would be
tested
kind of
positive.
scary, bro.
Yeah, because I've read about people they tested positive and then they recover and then they test positive again.
So like it could be like a false negative.
Maybe.
I don't know, bro. We're not scientists.
All
We're not going
right,
to jump into the
moving
facts of
on.
science. Shaban, talk to me about two things. Let's talk to me about the Lakers, an update, and the Rockets. What's going on here?
So, Rajon Rondo,
Yeah.
playoff Rondo,
Swole
as
Rondo.
Swole Rondo.
Swole Rondo.
Yeah, he's
Franklin
been looking
the Turtle.
jacked, but it's not going to matter because he fractured his right thumb and he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8
Yep.
fucking weeks.
And
6 to 8 weeks.
hopefully
no
he'll be
playoff Rondo.
hopefully he'll be back like in the middle of the playoffs. We'll see.
Yeah, the timeline looks
Scheduled
like
for like a second or third round return.
yeah, it's looking like second round, assuming the timeline is accurate.
Yeah.
I'm a little dubious of that timeline, to be quite honest.
Dubious, suspicious, bro.
I'm a little. Can be both. Things can be two things.
No, dubious means of evil intent.
I'm a little dubious. I'm gonna stand by. I don't care. What's up, YouTube?
I'm done.
But yeah, Rondo's out for 6 to 8 weeks. What's up with the Rockets, man?
So, earlier was
Well, no, give the good news then the bad news. Do the good news first.
so the good news is that that James Harden is in Orlando.
Fantastic.
Right.
Bad news.
The bad news is Russell Westbrook is not because he tested positive. And it's not just Russell Westbrook, it's also Eric Gordon who tested positive. And we just found this out like not that long ago either.
I actually didn't know about Eric Gordon.
Yeah,
That's news
I've
to
never
me
got
too.
that notification.
Yo, that's crazy. I didn't know about Eric Gordon.
Yeah, then we just talked about how Eric Gordon was just tested positive, right?
What, you
Who is we? Who
Look,
is we?
Look, here's the thing, right? Russell Westbrook, let's hope he gets healthy and ready in time. Because without Russ or Harden, either or, right? They have Harden, so we're not discussing him. But if they don't have Russ, they're fucked. They traded Clint Capella because they believed in the small ball that Russell Westbrook and James Harden in tandem allow them to play. The micro ball, basically, right? Without Russ, they can't play that stuff. I mean, I'm sure they'll try, but they're going to be less successful because Russ is that guy who's going to go grab a couple extra boards and be that tenacious basketball player that we all know and love. That's going to suck, bro. I hope he comes. I mean, everybody hopes Russell Westbrook's back, but that's not ideal.
As a Russell Westbrook stan, I'm going to miss him.
I think we're all going to miss him,
We're all
dude.
gonna miss
If
him.
Russell, look, you cannot be. Okay, maybe this is a bit contrarian, but you cannot be a basketball fan and tell me you don't at least enjoy watching the guy play. You don't have to love him. You don't have to be a fan of him. He's just so fucking fun to watch. His energy that he brings every single game. He's always playing 100%. Always. I don't like, he's so fun to watch. But, we've talked about the Rockets probably more than we should have. Get well soon, Russell Westbrook. We want to see you play basketball. Kawhi Leonard's finally in Orlando, though. Kawhi Leonard has touched down in Orlando. So Clippers fans, if you exist, but more importantly, Kawhi Leonard fans, because we know you exist, your boy is here and hopefully healthy and ready. And he'll quarantine for a little bit, and then he'll be back on the courts. I assume by probably when we start scrimmages in about a week.
Yeah, I was kind of concerned because I heard that he didn't travel with the team, and I was thinking, oh no, what happened to Kawhi?
Did the Rona get him?
Oh shoot!
But then remember, he's a robot. He can't get the Rona.
That's true.
Yeah, robots can't get the Rona, right? I don't know. Doesn't it actually, the virus sticks to metal long.
Sorry, Kawhi bots cannot get the Rona. cannot get the Rona.
You dodged a bullet there.
Okay, so De'Aaron Fox is out for 7 to 10 days.
Again?
He sprained his ankle during a scrimmage or practice. He's out for 7 to 10 days. This is, I believe, the same ankle that snagged him basically the whole year. Yeah, I think he missed like 15 games throughout the season.
Missed a month and a half early in the season.
Yeah, dude, De'Aaron Fox.
And then he had a wrist injury towards January where he missed almost 6 weeks.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox
So
is
he's
struggling.
got no game time.
Yeah, let's hope that he gets healthy and right for... I mean, look, the trending notion is let's hope X, Y, and Z player gets healthy and right because we all want everybody to be as healthy as we can be. We want good basketball. Now...
Speaking of bad health.
Yeah.
Well, no, speaking of positive health, let's go to the Pacers and Victor Oladipo case.
I wanted to hit Eric Gumbo.
Well, okay, do that and do both.
All right, Oladipo, strong possibility to coming back is the report coming out of Orlando. He's been participating in the 5-on-5 scrimmages, and he feels good.
And Mark Stein actually reported he's the best-looking player on the court for the Pacers right now.
Real? Whoa.
Which, I mean, that's kind of a statement considering last we heard from VO, he wasn't even ready to play basketball according to himself.
Yeah, he opted out.
And then now he's in Orlando. He's playing 5-on-5.
Can you
Well, I mean, we thought it was shady.
We did think
that
it was
he
shady.
opted out but still traveled.
Yeah, we talked about this last week on the pod. We thought it was mad shady. But now he's there, and look, bullshit aside, I hope he does opt in to play.
Yeah.
I hope he can play.
I hope he can opt in.
I'm sure, dude, he's gone through all the protocols in Orlando. He's done his quarantine. He's tested negative. Why, you know what I'm saying? He should be able to play. You give him a little slap on the wrist, say, hey, don't do that again, and then get him back on the basketball court because the Indiana Pacers with Victor Oladipo, and apparently the best-looking guy on the court, Victor Oladipo, according to Mark Stein, would be a much more formidable opponent in the first round of the playoffs. No question about it, right? No question about it. Now, Shaban, the most exciting player according to the NBA, the reason why we have 22 teams in Orlando, give me an update. What's going on with Zion Williamson here?
Well, Kaiz, I know you wanted to talk about it. So.
All right, hit on Air Gumbo.
Air Gumbo. He has not practiced the past 3 or 4 days due to cramps and calf tightness. But most recently, we learned that he left the bubble for a family emergency.
Mm-hmm. This morning, yeah.
This morning, Thursday the 16th. And I think Shaban has more detail on exactly what it's going to happen when he leaves and comes back.
Yeah, so obviously when he comes back, he's going to have to get quarantined.
He's going to do the whole thing all over again.
And, it's going to depend on a few factors. It's going to depend on, 1, where he's going, 2, how to get there, and 3, what's the frequency of his testing while he's away.
Mm-hmm.
And, for a player to get cleared to actually play, and this applies to Russell Westbrook too, whenever he gets healthy, they need 3 consecutive COVID-19 negative tests.
Okay.
So it'll probably depend. They'll probably test it. They'll probably quarantine him as soon as he gets back. Best case scenario, 3 days with the rapid tests, and he'll be clear to play. But worst case scenario will be
worst case can get really bad.
Well, I mean,
let's not dive into worst case scenario with COVID right now.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, let's hope Zion gets back soon. Hope all is good with his family. Prayers out to him and the Williamson squad. And yeah, I mean, look, the whole reason why we have 22 teams in this bubble is because the NBA wanted their golden child Zion to possibly try to get into the playoff, right?
Right.
So he needs to be here. And
don't worry, I'm just hiding Players Anonymous.
Right now. I was like, what are you doing? You can see this on YouTube, by the way. We're on YouTube, available at the Waterboy and Equipment Manager podcast. So hit us up on YouTube.
Here's your sneak peek.
All right, man. Kaiz, take us away. Players Anonymous, bro. What's going on?
All right. Nicknames: Big Panda, Blue Magic, and Dr. Dre.
Big Panda. Why have I heard that before?
All right. So, my man, round 1, pick 3.
What year?
Overall, 2012.
Big Panda.
2012. That was was that
Blue
was that
Magic.
I think that was either the Kyrie draft.
Was that the Kyrie draft or the AD?
It was the
no,
AD
it was
draft.
the AD draft. It was the AD draft. Kyrie was 11, I think.
Yeah.
AD draft.
It was the AD draft.
Pick. Is this guy still good? Is he in the league?
Yeah, he's good.
AD, then Michael K. Gilchrist, and then
this guy. Big Panda. Who
Big Panda.
we can't.
I'm assuming he was drafted by the Magic.
No.
No, never mind.
It would be Victor Oladipo. But
you're right. It would be.
Damn, dude. I don't know. Give me more. Give us more.
I honestly can't give you more because it's going to give him away. Let's just say he's got a rotator cuff injury.
Bradley Beal?
There you go.
Hey.
Brad Beal's name is Big Panda?
That's weird. I've never
Why?
heard that before.
Don't look at me. Ask Basketball Reference.
That's a weird fucking thing.
Fans come up with the weirdest things.
I swear, man. All right, boys. Let's take a quick minute to pay some bills, and then we'll be right back with the X Factors of the Western Conference teams in the bubble. And we are back. Boys, this week we're going to do the X Factors from the Western Conference teams that are in the Orlando bubble. It's only natural that we do. We did East last week. Now, for a refresher for the listeners at home and on YouTube, I'm sorry, I have to plug it. It's so fun.
I'm tired of you.
I know. But yeah, as a refresher, it's going to be, the X Factor has to be a player or a position on each and every team that isn't an obvious one, right? So with the Lakers, we're not going to say LeBron has to be good.
So
like
with the Mavericks, you wouldn't pick Porzingis?
I would not pick Luka. I would potentially pick Porzingis. I don't know.
Porzingis has been kind of a question mark.
I don't know. We'll get there. Look, the Mavericks are later. But yeah, so the X Factor has to be a player or position that is somewhat of a question mark that if a team wanted to potentially go far in this thing, this person or position needs to be extra special or step up and become something greater. So let's get started. We're gonna go backwards, right, in reverse standing order. So we're gonna start with the team that's least likely to do anything, the Phoenix Suns. Well, okay, not least likely, but they're the furthest out.
Most
least
unlikely?
No, the Spurs are probably the most unlikely if we're being honest with one
Yeah.
another, right? Which is why I made that caveat. But the Suns of Phoenix. Shaban, get us started, man. What is your X factor for the Phoenix Suns?
First of all, the bright future Suns,
Yeah.
as they are affectionately called.
Yeah, sure.
If Kelly Oubre wasn't injured, this would be a pretty serious squad. But the big question mark here is going to be DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, that's my X factor too, man.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh, we all three picked the same X factor. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Doubters be damned. This guy is fucking good. This
Oh,
guy's
no doubt.
straight up filth.
No doubt.
His stats don't really lend that much credit. It's 19 points, 12 rebounds.
That's pretty damn good.
I mean, it's still good. But
What?
here's the thing, though. He gets 4 offensive rebounds a game.
Cool.
Yeah, and he's averaging 2 blocks a game. What do you mean his stats don't do it justice?
No, I think he's a
All
stat
season-
stuffer, bro. Dude, 19 and 12, you'd be happy with any big man doing that in the league.
Yeah, but look
basically.
at his stats post All-Star break. He's averaging 22, 13, and 2.5.
Well, it makes sense.
blocks
He
a
missed
game.
25 games. It took him a little while to get back in
Yeah.
basketball shape. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's a defensive anchor. He is a perfect rim running roll man.
He's okay on defense. He's
He's
above
not
average, but
great.
he's not.
So
He's
all
an anchor
his
for the
blocks
Suns.
come on smaller players.
Like, when you say defensive anchor, right, we're talking about the defensive anchor for the 13-seeded Suns.
Yeah,
That's the context. I agree with you. He's a defensive anchor for that team.
or you could
That's
be like
fair.
Anthony Davis, the defensive anchor for your Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, he's the reason
Not
why.
Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, he's the reason why their defense isn't butt trash. It's
Yeah.
What?
it's kind of average,
What?
right? It's just it's not good.
Alright.
It's not terrible.
Can
It's
we
just right in
cancel
the middle.
Shaman?
Shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah,
Clip
no,
it.
but look, you're right. DeAndre Ayton is definitely my X factor, and I think Kaiz's X factor as well. Here's a big thing for DeAndre Ayton. It's only his second year in the league, and quite frankly, he's only going to get better as time comes. But the biggest question mark with DeAndre Ayton that has been a question mark is he doesn't get to the free throw line nearly enough.
Yeah.
He needs to get more free throws. He's in the paint basically getting hacked half the damn time, and he's only averaging 2 or 3 shots a game from the free throw strike, which is kind of bullshit. But on the bright side, we get to see what DeAndre Ayton is made of. They're not going to make the playoffs unless they go on the most miraculous run that we've probably ever seen, besides the 3-1 comeback, I guess, right, with LeBron and the Cavs. But look at the matchups he's going to have to match up against in the 8 games that they're playing, right? He's going to go against the Mavericks. He'll be matched up against KP. He's playing center for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be matched up against Sabonis and Turner in Indiana.
Right.
Bam Adebayo for Miami. Steven Adams, which is a legitimately...
Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman, right, for the Thunder. And Joel Embiid, the second or first, according to whoever you're talking to, best big man in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have some serious competition. And it's going to be really cool to see what he's made of against some of the top big men in the league. That's what I'm most excited to see. And quite frankly, that's the reason why if DeAndre Ayton's going to show what he's made of, that would be the best time to do so. Against those big matchups, they got 5 out of their 8 games are legitimately tough matchups, and Ayton's going to have to show what he's made of.
Yeah. He's actually got a pretty good finesse to his game too. He's got a pretty solid low post game. He has a pretty good turnaround jumper as soon as he gets that entry pass.
Yeah.
And he's got a pretty reliable hook shot too. He doesn't just do dunks and layups the entire time.
I mean, DeAndre Ayton's a very good basketball player, and he's only going to get better. Like we said, it's only his second year in the league, and 22 and 13 is what you said post All-Star break.
Yeah.
That's only 3 weeks, so it's a very small sample size, but it shows that he can do it. And I think that's the important thing here. Now, we've spent more time on the Suns than they have on their own game plan, so let's move on to the Spurs.
Right.
The San Antonio Spurs are the most unlucky team when it comes to showing up in Orlando with basically they're missing LaMarcus Aldridge, which is their best player, if not their... I would say their best player, right?
Yeah, I would say that he's the guy.
And they've been underwhelming all year, right? They don't play a very appealing style of basketball for most basketball fans. And so look, they have 0 nationally televised games. That should tell you everything you need to know about why the Spurs are not the most exciting team in basketball. I don't think that's a hot take, right?
Yeah.
They're also, to quote Shaban, hot butt trash.
Hot butt trash. Yeah, they are hot butt trash. So, Kaiz, you're already on the hot butt trash train. Talk to me. What's your X factor for the San Antonio Spurs?
Their plethora of guards that they have.
Well, yeah, that's my thing too. The guard play.
So they got to figure out which ones they want to keep and which ones they don't really care for anymore.
Yeah, they got
for lack of a better term.
They got 4
They
legit.
have 4 solid point guards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Slash, no. Well,
Well,
two
I
of
mean,
them
look,
could play
in all
two.
honesty, like they're both point and shooting guards. They're combo guards, right? A lot of them are. But yeah, let's name them real quick so that way we're not putting the listener in the dust.
We got Derek White,
Yep.
Deontay Murray, Bryn Forbes, and Lonnie Walker.
Lonnie Walker. So yeah, they have 4 legitimately good guards. And yeah, Kaiz, what were you saying, man? What's got to happen here? What do they have to do?
They got to figure out who they want to keep, so they're going to play those guards the majority of the time they're there.
I hope so.
So from July 30th to August 13th.
Their 8-game season, yeah.
Yeah, so they just got to evaluate the guards. Pop has to figure out who he sees fit for the team in the future, and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I agree with you. Shaban, do you have a different X Factor?
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. It was more specifically towards Deontay Murray.
Okay, talk to me.
So Deontay Murray is probably their best and maybe their only defensive-minded guy that they have.
Oh, Derek White's a legitimate defender. Derek White went to Team USA
He is
this past
solid,
summer
bro.
because Pop was like, "Yo, this guy's good at defense."
Well,
Right.
Yeah.
So I think Deontay Murray has a higher ceiling than Derek White, but they're both really good defenders.
Right. But for me, Deontay Murray, if there's a time for him to have a breakout, it's right now.
Absolutely.
Because, he has to prove himself to be sort of a centerpiece for this squad. If not now, then when? Because San Antonio's running out of time.
They're out of time.
I mean, they're in danger of missing the first playoffs in 2 decades, which is, first of all, that's crazy.
Yeah, 22 years, right? I think we're
22
talking
So
about this a
they're
lot.
tied with Syracuse and one other team for the longest consecutive postseason appearances.
That's ridiculous.
And if they made it this year, they would have been the sole holders of the record.
Well, breaking news, they're not making it.
You're not
Probably
really
not.
breaking anything.
Yeah, I'm
bro.
not breaking any news, but yeah, I mean, look, all 3 of us. Sorry, Nabil's not here, guys. My bad.
He's not going to be here for a
All
while.
3 of us have said, yeah, guard play is important for the San Antonio Spurs. It's their most potent position with the amount of players and promising players they have, and so it'd be nice to figure out who's going to be around for the long term. And that might be up to Pop. It might be up to Becky Hammond, maybe Tim Duncan. I don't really know how long.
Tim Duncan actually did not travel with the team.
Yeah, he said he's going to join the team a little later, so we'll see if he comes through or not. But the guard play in San Antonio is going to be the big thing. Absolutely, I agree with you guys. And then potentially, it'd be cool to see what DeMar DeRozan does in the playoffs. DeMar DeRozan has been very up and down roller coaster style.
More or less.
Yeah, he's been very roller coaster in the playoffs throughout his history. I think DeMar DeRozan is a player that the eye test says he's a good player, and then the stats back him as not so efficient or very good at basketball. And so DeMar DeRozan, I'm probably going to say, based on the cap situation we're looking at going into the summer, he's probably going to opt into his deal.
Yeah.
Which means if the Spurs are going to have him next year, then let's hope he can do something and build off some decent playoff, or not playoff, but 8-game regular season momentum at what I would assume for the Spurs is high intensity. Right? Let's move on to the Kings. This is a much more exciting team.
Absolutely.
Than the other 2 teams we've talked about. Kaiz, open it up. What are we doing with the Kings? What's our X factor here?
So I think it's De'Aaron Fox. He's not really a cop-out because he hasn't played for a lot of the season.
Fine.
That's fine.
And guess what?
I appreciate you defending him not being a cop-out.
Yeah, I know. Because I'm going to. Because you're going to come at me like you came at Nabil last week.
Well, he picked Jason fucking Tatum.
All right. Mine's not that bad.
Okay, thank you. De'Aaron Fox.
Also, he's hurt right now, so it makes fucking sense. Because he was hurt all year.
All right, go ahead.
He's hurt right now.
Okay, why is he an
And
X factor?
He's the heart and soul of this fucking team.
No
Absolutely.
doubt. No doubt. No, there's no argument.
That's where it is. That's my fucking X factor.
So basically, he'll go as far as they take him. That's fair.
They'll go as far as he takes.
So, yeah. So, Shaban, do you also have De'Aaron Fox?
I do not.
Okay. Tell me who you got.
Because for me, De'Aaron Fox is I think he's still a reliable option. I think the big question mark for the Sacramento Kings is the guy has hardly played this season, who is supposedly fully healthy for Orlando. And
Hopefully.
that's Marvin Bagley.
Yeah.
Healthy for now.
Healthy for now, at least. The number 2 overall pick. All right. Well, the number 2 overall pick from the 2018 draft. He has played 62 games last season, and this season he's only played 13 games.
Yeah, it's pretty trash.
It's not
amazing.
He has not had a lot.
He hasn't even played one full season.
Yeah, and he had a good-ish rookie season, right? He's kind of overshadowed by by Luka, Trey, and DeAndre Ayton. Even.
Yeah, for sure.
But he had a pretty decent rookie season.
Who was the 3rd pick of that draft?
Trey Young. Well, yeah,
That's
Luka
4
was
and
trade.
5.
No, it's 3 and 5.
No, yeah.
It's 3 and 5. Yeah. Anyway, back to Marvin Bagley.
Anyway, So he's supposed to be fully healthy for Orlando, but I mean, like,
I'll believe it when I see it. That's the kind
yeah,
of that's
like,
where you're at.
Is he though? Like,
yeah,
is
like
he
I'll
though?
believe it when I see it. I agree with you holistically on Marvin Bagley.
And Luke Walton says that he is fully healthy and he's expected to play the center.
How does Luke Walton have a job?
Well, he has to play the center because Rashawn Holmes fucking went out to meet his Postmates driver.
Well, even before Rashawn Holmes,
Shout outs Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, for real.
Even before Rashawn Holmes got quarantined, he was expected to play a lot of minutes at the center, and he's got to be sort of like that dominant paint beast, contesting shots, getting good looks, grabbing boards. He hasn't really done much of any of those.
Paint beast sounds like a 2K player build.
It does, right?
Should be.
It's the
protector,
Marvin Bagley
glass
build according
pointer.
to Shaban today, right?
Yeah.
Or that's the build he should aim to be. It's not
That's fair.
necessarily what he
That's
is.
fair. So this is actually, interestingly enough, the first team that all three of us have a different X factor, which goes to show how many at least decent to good quality players this Sacramento Kings team has, and why we feel like they've underachieved this entire fucking regular season. I have Buddy Hield as my X factor, and for many reasons. One, he's an incredible shooter, one of the best shooters in the league, right? I don't think that's a hot take, but Buddy Hield at some point in the season got relegated to the bench, and Bogdanovic started to start over him, which doesn't mean Bogdanovic doesn't deserve that spot. It just means Buddy Hield is the guy they paid. Buddy Hield is one of the best shooters in the league, and quite frankly, I still think should be a starter in basketball. It's
Poor
ridiculous.
coaching decision.
Bielitsa's a great shooter too.
Yeah,
Bielitsa.
Nemanja Bielitsa, he's good too, but he's a power forward. So with Buddy Hield, my hope is for him to be so good that he can regain that starting position. Because he does deserve it, let's be honest. Buddy Hield, fantastic basketball player. And quite frankly, up until mid-season this year, we thought a building block for the Sacramento Kings. Maybe not so much anymore because of all the craziness that has happened, but Buddy Hield is my X factor. You have Marvin Bagley, Shaban, and you've got De'Aaron Fox.
Swipe up.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, it just goes to show the depth on that team. They've got 10 legitimately decent to good players. It doesn't mean that they are a really good basketball team, but
Bogdanovic probably out in the summer.
I don't know, dude. That's another thing, man.
Are they going to pay him?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. But let's move on to the Pelicans. This is the team that, like we've talked about multiple times in this
They're
podcast,
the reason we're here.
they're the reason why we have
right.
22 damn teams in this bubble. The Pelicans, I'll get started right here. My X factor is Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
My X factor is definitely Lonzo Ball, mostly for his defensive ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo Ball, when healthy for the Lakers and the Pelicans, has been a fantastic defender.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's also quite large for the point guard position. He's not Ben Simmons big, but he's still really big. He's
He's
6'6".
Yeah.
He's got a big wingspan.
Yeah, he's a big player, right? And he's very fast, especially as a point guard. So him, comboed with the shooting guard on that team, Drew Holiday, that's a scary defense right there. That's
probably
scary.
That's probably the best defensive backcourt in the NBA.
I don't know, bro. Avery Bradley, Danny Green,
Well, Avery Bradley's not there, so it doesn't really matter,
J.R.
does it?
Smith, Danny Green.
Oh, God, stop yourself.
Oh, God.
But yeah, no, Lonzo and Drew Holiday are a very scary defensive matchup. And by the way,
They are.
Drew has been genuinely
love Drew
consistent
Holiday.
and very good this season. Lonzo is the one that's
Great
the
teammate.
question mark. Exactly. Lonzo Ball, when healthy, is a really, really good point guard.
Mhm.
His vision is good, his movement is great, and his defense is good. His scoring and shooting are the big question marks for him that I hope he can get right. But even if he doesn't, his distribution and his defense bring really good value to the Pelicans. They will get scoring elsewhere because they have, right? Hopefully Zion will be back with Brandon Ingram and Drew Holiday and JJ Redick, and they've got so
speaking
many.
of Brandon Ingram
Okay, well that's a good transition.
and Zion, so my X factor is that Zion, Brandon Ingram on the court at the same time.
That's
connection.
fair. That's fair.
Brandon Ingram's been noticeably worse when Zion gets on the floor. I think, to quote Nabil, his points per game drops by 1 a game, or 3 a game, and his assists drop by 1 a game. So he's less effective on the offensive end, and on defense, I think it throws BI for a loop.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, Shaban, I know you've talked about the Zion Brandon partnership. Did you want to touch on this a little bit?
So it's more like the Zion and Lonzo partnership.
Okay.
Like those two, they just sort of fit together.
They click so
They
well.
just click so well.
It was immediate. It was so immediate.
Those so many half-court lobs that I've seen.
Well, you also have one of the most amazing passers we've had.
Yeah, and a freak athlete in Zion.
And a freak athlete, exactly. Yeah, and even when they're not necessarily on running plays for each other. When Zion's on that floor, Lonzo is noticeably better. He's able to space the floor better. He's able to shoot better. He shoots better on less attempts
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
Like since Zion
The
came,
focus kind of slides away from him.
exactly.
Facts.
So since Zion came back, Lonzo's shooting percentage from 3 went up 10 percentage points.
Yo, that's a big jump. That's
10,
a legitimate
10 percentage
large
points
jump.
from 3 is the difference between a good shooter and a great shooter.
Absolutely, absolutely it is. And I think the whole point of us talking about the Pelicans is they clearly have a good basketball team. And one of the most exciting teams that aren't in the playoffs that are chasing to go get it. So they're going to be a fun basketball team, and I'm looking forward to seeing them play. Lonzo, B.I., and Zion, and Drew for that matter, all have to be good. Not some of them. All of them have to be good if they're going to make a real push for that 8 seed and get a play-in or potentially just overtake the whole damn thing. Mm-hmm. And by the way, they still have to beat the next team up, the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, yeah. Skinny Mellow.
So, Kaiz, you brought up Skinny Mellow. So why don't you get started? Your X factor for the Portland Trailblazers.
It's Skinny Mellow.
Well, yeah, no shit. Tell us why.
Well, Carmelo is one of the best offensive players the league has ever seen. And you could argue that some of those years came as a Skinny Mellow in New York.
Sure.
Where inevitably Amari Stoudemire punched a fire extinguisher. It didn't really work out. Phil Jackson didn't know how to play with Melo.
But a lot of things went wrong. We can agree with that.
Yeah,
a lot
the
of
Phil
things
Jackson experiment was
But
a huge failure.
Skinny Melo's coming
They got
back
receipts.
with a vengeance. I think sitting at home's pissed him off.
Yeah.
And who knows? He might elevate a little bit. It's been a while since he sniffed the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, facts. That's a good point. I also, I had Skinny Mellow, but for basically a very similar reason, right? CJ and Dame are going to be the offensive juggernauts that we basically expect from them, especially Dame. But CJ's been no slouch in the playoffs either. Every year for the last 2 years, he's upped his game in the playoffs by about 2.5 to 3 points per game. So CJ and Dame, I'm not really that worried about. But hopefully, Carmelo can provide some type of ease of load from those two guys and provide some scoring and hopefully an efficient way. I think that's the biggest question mark, in an efficient way. And if he can give them 13 to 15 points per game, which is not unimaginable. He's done it through the regular season.
On 8 shots.
He's been pretty good through the regular season. If Melo can continue to do that, the Trailblazers have a legitimate shot at making the 8th seed. I don't think that's crazy to say. They're already within a play-in as we speak. They're 3.5 games out.
Yeah, but the way they've been playing is not going to cut it.
I mean, yeah, they got to up it. Well,
technically no one's been playing.
So there are 3 teams in the NBA that have defended worse than the Portland Trailblazers. Atlanta.
Cool.
Cleveland.
Cool.
And the Wizards.
So they're not. So 2 out of 3 aren't there.
And
3 out of 3.
And we heard earlier that Yusuf Nurkic is gonna come back healthier, and he's certainly gonna be able to help out with that.
No question about it. He'll help a lot.
But the thing is about Portland is that they get killed on the perimeter. They allow so many buckets from outside.
Well, missing Trevor Ariza is not going to help.
Yeah, and Trevor Ariza especially, he was like their guy on the wing. So who's going to be checking those shooters on the wing? It's got to be Melo. And we've seen like some of the workout videos.
You say it's got to be Melo?
It has to be Melo. It's got no other option.
I think Shaban's saying it's either Melo or bust, and the answer is bust.
Yeah.
But tell us why it's got to be Melo.
So, like Melo's been a bucket for his entire career. That's not like that. We're not going to.
Yeah, that's not a hot take.
Like defensively, calling him a turnstile would kind of be an understatement.
It'd be nice. You'd be nice to his defensive capabilities
this,
or what he's showed us.
Like this season, at least from when he contests like shots from 3, he may as well like not even try. It's really been that bad. Like he allows so many shots from outside, and they all just fall there.
He's slow as shit.
So Skinny Melo mixed with like 15% more effort could actually be better.
Yeah, because I mean defense is an effort thing, right? It's about like how much you want it, how much you gotta go for it. And I saw like a workout video of Melo like really getting after like CJ or.
All right, look, workout videos don't mean shit.
Hey, we learned from Ben Simmons and Hoodie Melo.
We learned from Melo.
We learned from Hoodie Melo workout videos don't mean shit. But look, the other thing that you touched on, right? We talked about Skinny Melo. Cool. Yusuf Nurkic is going to be big. Yeah. The reports are that he's healthy and he's in good shape and he's ready to play. If he comes back to the Nurkic, let's say, I think 100% is not fair, but if he's 85% of what we thought what he displayed he was a year ago, the Portland Trailblazers have at least something to really work off of with him and Whiteside in a decent to good rotation.
So Terry Stotts has said that Yusuf Nurkic has looked the best he has in his entire career.
I think that's coach speak.
I mean, maybe that's just him, just being optimistic. But
I mean,
you
you're also not going to come out and say, "Oh, he looked like he's ass now."
I mean, facts.
I mean, they
well, like he
like
would
if
just,
I
he
was
just
coaching you and the media asked me about you, I'm not going to say, "Yeah, he's like 4 feet tall, can't shoot a basketball."
Ouch, that's hurtful, man.
Shit.
I'm gonna be like, "Yo, he's got the best shot I ever seen. This lights out."
But look, it could have just been, if he didn't mean it, he probably just wouldn't say anything. He'd be like, yeah, well, he's working out, he's hopefully going to be ready for the games. But instead, he went out of his way to compliment his ability and the fact that he's as good as he's ever looked.
Yeah.
So Yusuf Nurkic, I think, is going to be the biggest X factor for them.
Mhm.
But Skinny Mello could really play a legitimate. He could up the ceiling by just that much more if he's good.
When Melo got signed by Portland, I said that he needs to play a very certain way for Portland to be successful. He needs to hit spot up, open threes, and bust ass on defense.
Guess the two things Melo can't do.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Hit a three and play defense.
He's done 50% of what Shaban's
Yeah.
asked to a better clip than he has before.
Yeah.
Right? Which is fair. Well, let's give him credit where credit is due.
All right, so let's move on.
To the 8-seeded Grizzlies, man.
Yeah, so this one's gonna be fun because we all have the same guy.
Oh, we do?
So
Yeah. Oh, really?
countdown: 3, 2, 1.
Justice Winslow.
You
You bastards.
literally had to say it. Like all you had to do was speak, and
Well-
you still backed out.
Well, Shaban, you backed down, so you started off. What's up with Justice Winslow? Why is he our X factor here?
Well, Justin Winslow isn't exactly my X factor because I was thinking, is he even on the roster? I haven't even, really seen him play on the Grizzlies, let alone play well, you know?
I mean, that's kind of fair, I guess.
Yeah. But, really my X factor was actually Jaren Jackson.
I mean, look, he's not an all-star. It's not the worst cop-out in the world. Give me more. What's up with Jaren Jackson? Why is he an X factor?
He's a solid player, but for Memphis to be competitive in the especially going down to the playoffs, he needs to find sort of that next gear. We know that John Morant can really shift gears really quickly. I need to see that same sort of intensity from Jaren Jackson Jr.
That's fair. I mean, look,
Can
Jaren
I change
Jackson's-
my X factor?
Yeah, why not?
Just John Morant.
That's not fair.
Man.
I mean, technically, within the parameters of him not being an all-star, that's fair.
Also a rookie.
Facts, right? So, the
I'm
cool
kidding, by the way.
the cool thing about the Grizzlies is Triple J is a sophomore, right? And Ja is a rookie.
So the funny thing is, he's Triple J, but their 3 best players' names also start with a J.
I know, very cool. But with Justice Winslow, he's my X factor. He's also Kaiz's X factor, and the reason is because, like Shaban said, he has not played for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Now, the cool thing, the reason why I chose Justice Winslow is, first off, the starter for the Grizzlies at the small forward position is Kyle fucking Anderson.
oh shit.
No, it's Kyle Who Anderson.
Kyle Who Anderson. He's their starter, and he's not very good.
He's not a starter. Let's be
Yeah,
fucking
that's fair.
honest.
If he was on your bench, you'd be like, all right, cool. He's a starter for
He's
them.
like
which
OG
is-
Anunoby. He's
Yeah.
on your bench,
in all
so it's
fairness,
cool.
I will remind you, it was Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder has now been traded. to Miami Heat. Crowder.
There you
But
go.
so that's why it's Kyle Anderson. So Justice Winslow, when he was in Miami and given certain games, he got to play point guard.
Played
right?
great.
He got to do ball-given duties, right? And I think that is a good position for him to be in off the bench role if he's not going to start,
Yeah.
right? We can't call him a starter just yet because, like Shaban said, he hasn't played for the Grizzlies yet. But him coming off the bench and being a secondary ball handler and playmaker off the bench for the Grizzlies could help up their bench unit and their productivity. Because when he did play as a point guard for the Miami Heat, he was very good. He's clearly an above-average passer, above-average defender. He's not bad at any given thing. It's just he's not very good at any given thing either.
Yeah.
But off the bench, he can be a legitimate spark plug for the young Grizzlies team who has high aspirations and is going to try to hold on to that 8 seed,
Yeah.
which is why he's my X factor. Kaiz, do you have a different reason for this?
Honestly, he's just got to prove why they traded for him.
Fair.
Because they gave up assets and 2 pretty fucking good ones.
I don't know, man. I think that I wouldn't. Their assets, I agree, but they're not assets that fit the timeline by any mean
Oh,
of
no,
that standard.
not at
Right?
I feel like
So, I don't think they really lost out by giving up Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala for Justice Winslow.
I feel like Memphis.
But I feel like Iguodala could have been that veteran presence.
I mean, if
He didn't wanna be
wanted
there.
play,
Wait,
right?
we
He
know.
didn't want to fucking be
But
there.
I feel
Doesn't
like
matter.
I feel like Memphis, they primarily go after guys who they know are going to be good culture fits.
Grit and grind.
Yeah, that grit and grind mentality.
I don't think Winslow's a grind kind of guy.
But I think he can be. He's proven in small spurts that his defensive ability is legitimately good. I'm not saying he's a good defender, but he's had moments where he's shown that he's really good at defense.
Kyle Anderson's had pretty solid moments as a defender.
Let's not talk about Kyle Anderson, man. That guy, he is.
He's just not bringing him up.
He's not very good. Let's
move
look.
on.
The Grizzlies will be better set if Kyle Anderson is not their starting small forward. But if he is, Justice Winslow off the bench can be a legitimate basketball player, ball handler for them to help up that ceiling.
Yeah.
Kaiz. Nah, I'd be fucked up if I let you start.
No, so let's do this. Let's me and you hit our points a little quicker.
Okay.
And we'll let Shaban speak about the trash bricks.
That's a weird name. We're
Couldn't
talking about.
come up with a better.
We're talking about the 7-seeded Dallas Mavericks and their X factor. I cheated. I will admit I cheated. I know. That's why when we were talking about I know, you threw your shade earlier. Yeah. But I picked Kristaps Porzingis, and I know that that's kind of a cop-out. Maybe it is a cop-out altogether. But KP has been
fantastic.
Decent. No, hold on. Decent to good until January.
Yeah.
And in January, he became an all-star caliber basketball player. And my concern is, can he do that in the comeback with the restart? If he can, the Mavericks have upped their ceiling by an astronomical level. And which is why I picked KP.
Did you really say I'll allow it?
He's a Mavs fan.
I'm the resident Mavs fan.
I'll give him his due. It's fine. But the thing is, if KP can up that level, the Mavericks are a legitimate team to be reckoned with, and they are every bit as scary as they were January, February, and then the beginning of March. If he's not, because we don't know what KP we're getting, then the Mavericks are easily a first round out, almost irregardless of where they play.
Because they play the Clippers.
Well, as of right now, yeah. I think they'll still jostle in positioning, and they might move up. I think they will. But that's why I picked KP. I have a secondary one, but it seems like my secondary is your primary case, so I'll let you do that one.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Facts.
And he's been solid all year.
Better than solid. He's been mind-blowingly good for what we thought he was.
For what Timmy Hardaway Jr. is, yeah.
Yes,
I know.
Yeah.
You got $72 million fucking dollars, bro.
We'll talk about why he's going to the Mavericks, why he's your X factor.
I mean, he's been great at scoring, but that consistency this year, it's new.
Yeah.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So he needs to be that number 3.
Yeah.
Because they have a 1-2 punch that's fucking amazing. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a top 10 1-2 punch in the league, arguably, right?
Yeah.
Come on, yeah.
Of course.
And that's it. He needs to be that number 3.
Yeah.
I don't think you want him shooting like he's the 1 or 2, but he's going to need to shoot with the confidence of a 1 or 2.
I mean, that's fair. I think the one really awesome thing that we have to give credit to Tim Hardaway is he has quickly and positively adjusted to the role that has been asked of him at a very high and honestly efficient level.
Yeah.
All right, we'll lay the red carpet for you, brother. Go ahead, talk about your Mavericks.
No.
So I agree with both of y'all that KP and Tim Hardaway Jr. are both going to step up, but I think the difference maker is going to be that 3 spot. It's going to be Dorian Finney-Smith. And here's why. Dorian Finney-Smith has been developed into sort of a pretty solid 3-and-D guy. You know, a guy that can go back on defense, guard the wing, guard the perimeter, and also be able to shoot the 3. You know, the way that he plays, especially against like the big wings or the top wings in the Western Conference, you know, it's gonna be key for him to be able to play well on both ends of the floor.
That's it? You're done?
That's all you got?
Well, okay, so
I didn't think so. All right, go ahead. Come on.
So, like, the thing is, like, he, like, for shots greater than 15 feet, he allows, like, 32% from the field, which is pretty damn good.
I mean, for the listeners who need context, that's well below league average.
Yes.
Well below.
And, you know, while KP is anchoring that paint, and while Tim Hardaway Jr. is providing instant offense on that perimeter, Dodo needs to be able to lock down that perimeter, also be able to shoot well from outside when Luka passes him that outlet pass in the corner.
No question. And then the other thing that's not so much an X factor, but it is somewhat of a question mark, and I think that question mark will be answered quite quickly, especially because we have scrimmages coming up, is what is the shape, literal body shape and type of Luka Doncic? Right. Because we know he's a big-time snacker. He loves McDonald's and Big Macs, and he's had 3 months off. Now, in the pictures that we've seen, at least so far, he looks decent.
He's the only one that's always in long sleeves and sweatpants.
Yeah, he looks decent, though. He doesn't look like he's super out of shape, but I can't really tell if he's in same shape would be unfair, but close shape to when he was the top 5, top 7 MVP candidate Luka Doncic for much of this basketball season.
Well, the added muscle and athleticism from Doncic would help, but the best thing about Luka is his skill level.
No question about it. I mean, look, we know Luka's going to be good. I'm hoping that he can be as good as he has been this whole year, which is like a top 5 or 6 MVP level candidate, and that's what we're shooting for with Luka Doncic. Let's move on to the 6th-seeded Houston Rockets. Now, this is a team that many of us on the podcast were actually quite high on when we talked about our predictions for the regular season, the 8 games record 2 weeks ago. Now, with the Russell Westbrook news, he's my X Factor. Yeah, he's my X Factor by default, and I think he has to be. Is Russell Westbrook going to be healthy? Is he going to be right?
Is he showing symptoms?
Yeah, and is this... look, COVID, from everything we know, is a respiratory disease. Is this going to mess with his cardio, his stamina in the game? Because Russell Westbrook is one of the top, I use the shit out of my stamina cardio players in the NBA.
Incredibly high.
He's full pedal to the metal.
Exactly. And so, can Russ be Russ? And I think all of us hope he will be. But that's an X factor at this point. It's a default X factor, but it is.
Yeah.
All right, since you took Russ, mine is, can PJ Tucker still hold up against the bigs?
That's a good question.
That's also a good question, yeah.
Because we have that, 10-game sample size where they went micro ball, as you stated earlier?
Yeah, it's micro ball.
Micro ball, yeah.
But in a longer format, in a 7-game series, can that hold up?
Yeah, I mean, when teams are watching film on you and they have done every
when all
piece
they
of
have
homework,
to plan for is you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Can it hold up?
So right now they're at the 6th seed. Assuming they don't move, right? They would play the 3-seed Nuggets, who have some of the better bigs.
I mean,
let's be honest.
The best.
They have the best
they
and one
best
really good.
Yeah, and Millsap is no joke either, for sure. You're absolutely right.
Millsap.
Yeah, and then apparently the most untradeable man in basketball,
For
Michael Porter
fucking
Jr.
real.
But you're right. They have the best big man, if not top 2, right, depending on who you talk to, best big man in the league with Jokic. And now we have skinny Jokic.
Jokic looks good.
He looks great. I just hope that translates to the same, if not better basketball.
Yeah.
That's the question mark. But we'll get to the Nuggets when we get to the Nuggets.
Yeah.
We're on the Rockets.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker's a big question mark and a big X factor. If he can be the guy that he showed us he was for about 10 or so games there, then the Rockets are going to make a deep playoff run, assuming Russ, the other X factor, is Russ.
Right. So, you already touched on Russ and PJ Tucker. So I would take the third X factor, which is the guy they traded for, who is also arguably probably the tallest player on their roster.
Tyson Chandler?
No.
I'm just kidding.
He
doesn't really get minutes. I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
It's Robert Covington.
Yeah.
So it's pretty clear
Bro,
that
dead ass, I've never said his whole name.
Rocco?
Yeah, it's just Rocco.
Yeah. Hearing Robert Covington is a bit weird. But go ahead, make your points, man. Talk to us about this.
For a second, I was like, who the fuck is that?
So Robert Covington, he's been highly touted as one of the better two-way talents in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
And it's pretty and that Rockets team, whenever James Harden and Russell Westbrook, both those guys use a lot of energy. So when they run out of gas, they run out of gas.
No doubt. Yeah.
So it's very clear that someone other than those two and Eric Gordon is going to have to step up, and that guy's going to be Robert Covington. I
mean, that's why they traded arguably, one of their better basketball players, who obviously didn't fit in towards the end with Clint Capella, to acquire Rocco.
Yeah. Since he got traded to Houston, he's been averaging 2.5 blocks a game.
Rocco has been.
Rocco.
Holy shit, that's
It's
pretty
all
damn
on
good.
the switch,
I mean, look, we knew he was a good defender, but 2.5 is like a best all-time kind of defense, levels, right?
So he needs to continue to showcase that two-way talent, especially in this late push, especially in the playoffs.
No doubt. And I mean, honestly, Rocco is one of those guys that he's going to be game ready. He just rubs me as one of those guys that's like, yes, I'm always in shape. I'm always ready to play where the court at. And he rubs me as one of those guys,
Yeah, he's just like a system guy. It's like you can plug him into any system and he'll just work.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's definitely for sure. I mean, so the Rockets, Russ, Rocco, PJ Tucker, all good picks. And quite frankly, if the Rockets plan to make any run, which I think Rockets fans assume and expect them to do so, as do Rockets players and GM and coach, those 3 guys are going to have to step up. Obviously, we know James Harden is going to be James Harden, and hopefully a better version. He's got 3 months off. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the next team up. They're the 5 seed. Now, this is a team that, interestingly enough, has overperformed, right?
This is a weird team.
It's a good team. We'll say that.
I mean, it works.
But exactly. It works. And that credit goes to a lot of people. But the one that I'm going to choose, my X Factor, is Danilo Gallinari.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is simple. Gallo is a very, very, very good, but marginally underrated offensive basketball player. Right? He's been to the playoffs 3 times in his career. The most recently was obviously last season with the Clippers. And every single time he's been an offensive beast. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He has, just last year, 40% from 3 on 7 attempts per game in the playoffs. So clearly, he's not afraid of the moment. He's ready to play basketball at a very high level. And so for Gallinari to give them 18 to 21 points per game in the playoffs would be ideal. And with that, we know Chris Paul is going to be good, right? Chris Paul's pretty much always good. We know what Adams is going to give you. Gallo needs to step up and be, a offensive, legitimate threat. And I think that's why he's an X factor for me.
Mm-hmm. So for me, like the X factor is, it's pretty similar to like I won't say it's a cop out, but
it's a cop out.
Is it?
I mean, like it's okay. It's almost unfair to ask someone to produce so much in their only their second season of pro ball.
I mean, we're asking a lot of John Triple J.
Yeah.
So why can't we ask a lot of your next guy?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Talk to me, man.
So if the regular season is of any indication, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can hang with the big boys.
Oh yeah, he's legitimately a good basketball player.
He's a legit one of the stars of Oklahoma City right now.
Already.
And I want to just say a quote that CP3 has, who's unequivocally the leader of that team. He said about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is that I'm not teaching him; he's teaching me.
Yeah, a little humble pie there for you. Yeah, I mean, look, SGA has been fucking great. He's been great, and quite frankly, better than I think most people anticipated from him.
Right. It's
by
kind
a
of
long
like
shot.
kind of like a diamond in the rough,
For sure.
And for him to be able to, for Oklahoma City to be able to succeed, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander needs to be able to prove himself.
Hell, they got 4 first-round picks coming to surround him with.
I know, right?
Facts.
But he's got to be able to prove himself among like the best backcourts in the NBA. Russ and Harden, Dame and CJ, Pat Bev, Lou Will.
Did
De'Aaron
you really
Fox,
just call Pat Bev something?
Let him finish.
De'Aaron
he's
Fox
taking
and Buddy
too long.
Hield, Ricky Rubio and Devin Booker, Luka Doncic and Tim Hardaway Jr., Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell. He's got like all those guys have been in the league for like a good amount of time now, and they have a lot of they have matured themselves. What are you showing them?
Listeners, Kaiz just held up on his iPad the One Eternity Later, the SpongeBob little graphic.
Anyway,
But like you were saying.
Anyway, I'm done. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has to prove himself among the best backcourts in the NBA.
All right, Kaiz, do you want to give your X factor?
Can I? Was it time?
Yeah, come on, man. Come on.
No,
All right,
you know what?
it's
We're
Dennis
skipping- we're
Schroeder
skipping.
off the bench. He's got to keep that flame up. He's averaging career best in pretty much every single category. He's got to keep it up. He'll be gone for a little bit, though. His wife's having a baby.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, right? If he misses that first round, the Thunder could be
He'd
gone.
be home,
They
yeah.
could be at home by the time he's ready to come back, and it might not matter. The Mike Conley led. No, I'm just kidding.
Why? Why?
the Utah Jazz are the 4 seed. Mike Conley is my X factor because they traded for him in the hopes that he would be helpful on the offensive end with Donovan Mitchell.
I believe
Right?
the word you're looking for is good.
Well, yeah, he's been quite bad, dude. He's been really bad this year for a multitude of reasons. But he's had 3 months off. Hopefully, he's got his body and his head right. And when it comes time to play basketball, Mike Conley's got to help Donovan Mitchell out. Bogdanovich, their
He's
best.
gone.
Yeah, Bogdanovich, their either best or second best scorer on the team, is not going to be there, which means somebody's got to step up. And why not the $30 million man and Mike Conley they acquired for this exact purpose? Help Donovan Mitchell out on the offensive end. And he has to, truly, has to be good if the Jazz are going to be anything at all in these 8 games in playoffs. He needs to be a factor, period.
Can I just attach my name to your essay?
Yeah, go for
All right, I picked Mike Conley. Safe, made all the points.
it. Fair.
So honestly, I'm not that concerned about Mike Conley because later, like after January, he actually started to really pick up his stride. He actually started to produce a lot more from on the offensive side. For me, for the Jazz, losing Bogdanovich was huge.
Oh, I think we all agree with that.
But Utah does have a plan B, and his name is Jordan Clarkson. And he's a big question mark because the last playoffs he's played was the LeBron squad, and he just disappeared.
Which
Yep.
LeBron squad?
The one where like he played with a bunch of shipwrecks. You know, the
So pretty much all of it?
2018.
No, that's not true. The most recent LeBron squad, right before he came to LA.
So
Right.
the Cavaliers.
So I want to go through some like quick stats really quick. Against Indiana, he had 4.4 points a game, 32% from the field, 14% from three.
Yeah, pretty shitty, I'd say.
Against Toronto, 5 points a game,
Hey, progress.
29% from the floor, 27% from three.
Hey, that's astronomical difference.
Against Boston, 5.5 points a game, 30%
All I
from
see
the
is
floor,
progress.
33% from three. And then against the Golden State Warriors, he played in game one. He played 17 minutes in game one, 8 minutes in game two, and just didn't even play after because he was just that bad. Damn,
That's tough. That's really tough.
3 points a game, 23% from the floor, a bagel from three.
Yeah, sounds about right. Jordan Clarkson is one of those like off the bench hot streak kind of guys. Gets hot and gives you buckets. He's definitely someone that I would consider. I mean, look, since he's gotten to Utah, he was really, really, really good for a good bit there.
Yeah, but he was also doing really well like in the regular season on that LeBron
Fair.
squad.
Fair.
So
then why the hell is he your X factor? You don't seem to believe in the damn guy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that like he can't shrink in the playoffs like he did that last time. He has to be able to step up into those big moments.
Well, I guess we're gonna find the fuck out because the Jazz are definitely gonna be in the playoffs, and we're gonna have to hope Jazz fans are gonna have to hope Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson, to be quite honest, both of them got to step up because I don't know where the points are coming from if it's not Donovan Mitchell right now. There's not that many reliable offensive options beside Mitchell on that team. So we got to figure out where the hell the points are coming from.
Absolutely.
And both those guys are going to have to be a big factor here. The Denver Nuggets, one of the most underrated, really good basketball teams in basketball, are up next. They're the 3 seed. Kaiz, you want to start us off?
All right. I'm going to hold in Trillsap because Paul Millsap for the listeners.
Yep.
Don't give me that look. So he could honestly win you 2 games every series by himself. That's the kind of player he's been his entire career, very low-key, until he came to Atlanta and became Trillsap. That's all I got to say.
That's it?
All
What?
right,
The
sure.
Nuggets have a young core. He's experienced, solid player, and he could hold them together mentally.
Well, I think that's a good point. The mental toughness that Paul Millsap can bring to the table, I think, is a legitimately valuable point. Shaban, do you want to jump in here, man?
So I'll make this really quick. The difference maker for Denver is going to be Will Barton.
I
And
like Will Barton.
We all like
we
Will Barton.
we
on this
love Will
podcast.
Barton. But
We
the
love
thing
Will
is,
Barton.
but the thing is, in last year's playoffs, he pulled a complete Houdini. He just like disappeared, and he was so bad in that San Antonio series that Pop pulled that, or like not Pop, Mike Malone pulled him for Torrey Craig.
Yeah.
So like he had like 9 points a game, shooting 34% from the floor, 23% or 27% from three. Now he's in a bigger role with bigger responsibility, and he's having the best career. He's having like a career season right now. So he needs to be able to step up on both ends of the floor. He cannot be a turnstile on the perimeter, and he has to be able to be that same bucket he's been in the regular season.
I mean, look, on the bright side, like you talked about, Will Barton this regular season has been, it's a career best year.
Yeah.
Basically across the board.
We ranked him as one of our best small forwards.
Yeah, he was a top 10 small forward. I believe he was like number 10 for us or something like that.
Now,
But
now it's time for him to put up a shutout.
absolutely, you're absolutely right, man. For me, the X factor is Gary Harris. He's been bad this year. Like, honestly, he's just been bad this year. It is his second worst career three-point percentage besides his rookie year, to give you an idea of how bad he's been this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the beauty is he's had 3 months to get out of his own head and to get right, and now he needs to step up for the Denver Nuggets. That doesn't mean he needs to be the all-star. They have Jokic. They've got Murray. They've got Barton. They've got even Millsap. But this guy's going to get a lot of open shots, especially on the perimeter, probably in the corners, and he's got to knock them down. He's going to get a bunch of them. Let's see you knock it down. Gary Harris is basically a fantastic 3-and-D guy that hasn't been shooting the three good this year.
Yeah.
So step your three-point shots up and make them, because now's the best time. The Nuggets are going to be a team that are only going to, they are the sum of their parts, right? And so they really do need the whole team to step up in order to be successful. Jokic cannot just carry on his own, neither can Jamal Murray or Millsap or so on and so forth. And so it's important for all these guys to be of value and step up. And for that reason, Gary Harris is going to be my X Factor pick. But I don't disagree with either one of your X Factors. They all got to be good. If the Nuggets want to do anything, they all got to be good.
Yeah.
And we got to see what skinny Jokic is, because there's a good chance that his game might have adjusted a little due to the lack of weight, for lack of a better word. Let's see what he can do differently, and hopefully he's better.
If he has an extra bounce to his step, that'd be real exciting.
Fantastic. It'd be great.
It'd be a huge upgrade.
I mean, yeah, and he's already a damn good player, so an upgrade to that would just be, it'd be fun to watch, no doubt about it. The other LA team, the number 2 seed, the Clippers, are next on our list. Shaban, start us off, man. Start us off on the Clippers.
So the eventual Western Conference champions.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, that's it.
You're done. You're cut off.
His point's gone. All right, so my X factor is Montrezl Harrell.
No. All right, so the Clippers are a tough one because
what the fuck just happened?
So the Clippers are a tough one.
He tried it and he failed.
All right, Shaban, come on.
So the Clippers are a tough one.
Don't be disrespectful, but come on.
Because the Clippers are just such a deep team, but I'd say their biggest question mark is probably Reggie Jackson, and he's been pretty sturdy for the Clippers so far, taking over Landry Shamet's spot in the rotation, but it's only been 9 games.
Yeah, I was like, he's played not even double-digit games, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Has he been any good at putting it in from deep?
Oh God. Oh God. Come on, man.
But I mean, he shot 40% from 3 this season.
So he's been good at it.
He's been pretty good. He's been pretty good at putting it in from outside. And actually, it was actually 37% with Detroit, and then when he moved to Clippers, it's been 45%. But again,
small sample.
But again, 9 games, right? So he has to be able to show that he can keep that up, and he has to be able to show that he can defend well too. Because last season or last playoffs against Milwaukee, he allowed Eric Bledsoe to just go off.
Fair. Kaiz, X Factor, man.
Montrezl Harrell. Dude's a great player.
I mean, he's the definition of X Factor, is he not?
Yeah.
He defines the word X Factor.
Exactly.
Well, talk to me about what you want to see from him.
So we all know he's a great player. We all know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
But with the lack of playoff experience, is he ready for it? And that's what we don't know. Can he handle this different kind of intensity where teams are going to game plan for you? They're going to make sure that if they can't block you out the entire way through, they're going to chip you. And can he handle being chipped over and over and over again?
That's fair.
Or will it get to him?
Interesting. That's an interesting take on Montrezl Harrell. I mean, you're right. It's an interesting take, if that makes sense.
It's different.
Yeah. Mine is going to be the guy that they acquired and paid a first-round pick for.
Yeah,
Marcus Morris.
First-round pick.
Yeah, Marcus Morris of the New York Knicks, now of the LA Clippers. Now, he went from 20 points per game in New York to 10 points per game in LA. Now, that's fair. He played on a really garbage team in New York, and now he's on a very good team in LA and doesn't get as many shots or attempts. But here's the drop-off that's concerning. In New York, his field goal percentage was 44%. In LA, it is 38%. In New York, his three-point percentage was 44%. In LA, it's 28%.
Ooh.
And he's going to get open shots.
And that's on just one less attempt.
It's only one less attempt from 3. So the numbers aren't off by a whole lot. Yeah, his field goal shots are down, but his three-point shots are the same, -1, quite literally. He's going to be a good defensive piece to give time to Kawhi and Paul George to kind of chill out. We know this. But can he be an offensive piece, the one that they went to acquire and paid a first-round pick for? I know it's a Clipper first-round pick, so in all honesty, it's probably not worth all that much. But it's still a first-round pick, and Marcus Morris is going to be a piece that they want to keep around and be legitimately a contributor on the offensive end. He's going to get open shots. He's going to get good looks. And if he shoots 20%, he's not going to get playing time.
Yeah,
he will get replaced. Shaban talked about it. Even Kaiz talked about it. We've talked about it many, many weeks. The Clippers are a very deep basketball team. They got 12 legitimately good guys. And in the playoffs, you only play 8 or 9 of them. And if you cannot be good, you will get replaced. And Marcus is one of those guys. I believe that he'll be good, but he has not shown all that much in LA thus far. And now he'll get the chance to do so, especially if his defense is on. Him, Paul George, and Kawhi on defense with obviously Trez and Pat is a very scary lineup, especially defensively.
Pat Beverly, Defensive Player of the Year.
Now we're going to jump to the number 1 seed, the LA Lakers.
That's trick y'all, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, the LA Lakers are, like we talked about, they've been really, really good all year.
Absolutely.
But they're a team that, as a fan, I'm a bit concerned about. We've lost depth, obviously, with Avery Bradley not there. And now Rondo has hurt himself 6 to 8 weeks, potentially not coming back until the second round, at the earliest, it seems. So there's got to be an X factor to step the hell up, and for me, it's Danny Green.
All right.
Danny Green has been a very good 3-and-D guy for the majority of his career, but he does take a slight dip in the playoffs. And basically every year he's made the playoffs, except for that one god tier year when he was on the Spurs playing against the Miami Heat, right?
That's right.
But otherwise, Danny Green has been okay. Otherwise, in the playoffs, and I think he's gonna get first off. He's gonna get open shots. He's definitely gonna get open shots on the Lakers, no question about it. But defensively, he's going to guard, in all likelihood, your best wing player now, right? We don't have AB to guard those extra energetic level point guards.
Right.
And in all likelihood, Danny Green probably won't be guarding those guys either. But the Paul Georges of the world, Danny Green will be guarding. The Kawhi Leonards of the world, Danny Green will be guarding one of those two guys, probably Kawhi if we're being honest. But he's going to have to come ready to play defense against some of the best players in basketball. And for that reason, we need him to be good on both sides of the ball consistently.
Right.
Not just some games, consistently. And that's why Danny Green's my X factor.
Right.
All right. I'm going to go Kyle Kuzma.
Okay.
Needs to step it up offensively.
Big time. Big
Absolutely.
time.
Just this morning, Jared Dudley said that Kuzma is our third guy, which means that the team knows he has to be good, so he has to be good.
Yeah, whether or not that's a true statement or not, I think the team agrees that
tweeted
it
it.
needs to become that. Yeah.
Like, he's able to slash to the rim pretty easily, but when LA
That's jump shot is what we need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when LA needs him to shoot, that's where he struggles a lot.
Especially this year.
Yeah.
He's taken a dip in production for
It's
sure.
weird.
So there's a silver lining there. Like when he shoots corner threes, he actually makes like 50% of them. So he doesn't necessarily need to stop taking threes. He has to take smarter threes.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, and Kaiz, go ahead. I know
No,
you're
you
on. The biggest thing with Kyle Kuzma has been that those corner threes usually come when someone is playmaking for you and you're playing with the starting lineup.
Right.
And Kuzma's been playing with the bench unit a lot this year.
He's playing 60% of the time with Rondo.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
it's very
right.
difficult for him to get wide open or at least semi-open corner threes. So sure, he's shooting 50%, but the question is he going to get that many of them?
Right.
Right. Kyle Kuzma's a kind of a spark plug off the bench for the Lakers this season. He's going to need to create his own shot, which I wouldn't say is his strength.
Mhm.
It's something he can do, but I don't know if it's his strength.
Yeah.
Kaiz, is there any other reason why Kyle Kuzma's an X factor for you, man?
That was it, pretty much. We
Yeah.
needed number 3.
Yeah.
And that's who it's got to be.
All right, Shaban.
So if you were to ask me like 2 weeks ago, I would have also said Kyle Kuzma. But since that, with the news of Avery Bradley opting out and Rondo injured, I would probably say it's going to be the guy taking over that one spot given the big minutes.
Mhm.
It's going to be fan favorite Alex Caruso. Caruso. And like he is a playmaker in sort of an unorthodox sense. He is a defensive playmaker. He plays with a lot of energy.
Mhm.
He's an athletic finisher. He's a very crafty guy, very like clever like player. But like he's only like an average shooter. He's not really a strong ball
So
handler.
I almost made Caruso the Players Anonymous player.
Ah.
But Bald Mamba and Bald Eagle.
Yeah, I think it would have given it away.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, you're on a roll.
Yeah, so, Alex Caruso thrives the most when he's, like, making cuts to the rim, going around, like, dribble handoff screens, and creating opportunities in transition. But other than that, like, he doesn't really show a lot of strength in just about anything else. So you might have to really tinker with the lineup there and see how you can maximize his energy and his defensive potential, along with the other guy that's going to be getting those minutes, which is Quinn Cook. And his shooting.
Possibly.
I'm
still.
holding
think
out
Quinn's
hope
gonna
for Darren Collison.
That's not
Well,
happening.
I mean-
Go ahead and say that's not
I
happening.
mean, we can always
Breaking
hope,
news.
right?
Yeah, but like, no, I mean, those are all good picks. The Lakers, we know they have a bunch of guys who are hot and cold, and we need all of them to step up if championship aspirations are to be had and to be succeeded with.
For sure.
Now, before we go, I just had a quick keep trade cut for you guys. Okay, so let's
Is
not
this
take
really
too long.
what we're doing?
Keep trade cut. Kristaps Porzingis, Domantas Sabonis, Bam Adebayo. Go.
Keep Bam, trade KP, cut Sabonis.
Damn.
Keep Bam, trade.
Yeah, so exactly what I just fucking
Yeah,
said.
So
pretty
you
much
agree with him? You
yeah.
guys are cutting Sabonis? All-star Sabonis?
I'll cut Sabonis.
Well, they're all
KP didn't make the
fucking
All-Star team this year.
Yeah,
in the West.
but like KP started to hit his stride like late in the
I
season.
think he has more trade value.
All right. Well, boys, that concludes this week's episode. So thank you for listening. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Hey, YouTube.
Dude.
All right, boys. Thank you again. and see you next week. See ya!
Peace.
Adios.